All right, welcome back. What's up, you? We're gonna call you Chuds today. Mobstar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. Entire event just finished like a couple hours ago, and honestly, I heard some people saying it was a really, really bad card. I actually didn't think it was too bad of a card. There was definitely some fights that absolutely sucked. I truly think the MVP fight was one of the worst fights I've watched. Like literally in my UFC career, so that's saying something as like a fan watching fights. But otherwise, there was some fights that were good. There were some fights that weren't good, but there were some fights like the Mason Jones fight that absolutely like carried the card. Mason Jones versus Axel solo was like if that's not fight of the year, I don't know what will be. Like that was like hands down one of the best fights I've ever seen. So some of the worst fights I've ever seen, some of the best fights I've ever seen. Main event was pretty good in general. I'm going to break it down for you guys, give you guys my reaction and thoughts to all the fights. There'll be timestamps so you guys can jump ahead, skip all the early fights with some of the broads at the beginning. Actually, the Chanel Dyers fight was pretty good and she got to finish. We can skip the whole Shamrock show if you guys want. But anyways, those timestamps, I'm going to start at the bottom, go all the way to the top. And give you guys my reactions and thoughts on this fight card and talk about what's next for everybody. So, Chanel Dyer versus Ravenna Oliveira. I did actually half decent on picks this fight card. Not amazing, but half decent. Like again, don't ever bet on what I'm predicting because I think it's probably a bad thing to do. But this is for entertainment purposes. Chanel Dyer looked good, man. She looked strong. She was looking for the finish, like in the fight when she had her hurt, and she kind of just put it on her. She was better. She was landing bigger shots, and she caught her with some nice shots at the end and just followed up and pretty. I don't want to say an easy KO or TKO win, but like a pretty easy TKO win for Chanel Dyer. She looks good, man. First fight in the UFC to win like that, not bad. Like she's an interesting prospect for sure. She's in great shape. She looks strong in there, and her striking looked really good as well. There's not a whole lot to talk about, but she did look very good. I got that one right without watching any of these girls' fights. I just picked Chanel Dyer because she's from England. So, I'll take a win there, but it is what it is. Next fight, Shamrock versus Abdul Karim Alsawadi. I did pick Shamrock to win. I think there's actually a couple of us that picked Shamrock to win. We were just kind of hoping that brother would pull something off. But unfortunately, I think the Shem show is going to go, bro. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be able to quite cut it against some of the best guys in the not best guys, sorry, against some of the guys in the UFC at UFC level caliber. Like, not saying Kareem Al-Sawadi is like the best guy ever, but he's not a bad UFC fighter, and he's like the lower end of like the UFC fighters in this division. And the Shem Show is winning most of his fights. Like, he's winning on the regional scene, but when he's going up against that like next kind of level of competition, it wasn't. Yeah, he's just not quite there. His striking is, first of all, he's a grappler. This was a problem I had with him coming in this fight. He's a grappler, and he's better at grapple. I'm a grappler, lad. He's better at being a grappler, but he has zero takedown entries. So for him to get to the ground and get like a takedown is very hard. And his striking is okay, but it's really not. I was gonna say it's okay, but it's not. It's not really okay. His striking's pretty mid to low tier. It does a lot of things that don't really make sense, like the little flicking, like lead leg kicks. Yeah, some of them. Sometimes they land clean, but they don't really have anything on them. Like you can get slapped like this across the cheek with a couple like flicky toes, like all fight. It's not really going to do anything. And when it comes to actually landing big, powerful, strong shots, like he's a little bit too telegraphed and it's not clean enough. And he kind of just doesn't have a way to get it into his world in the grappling. So he kind of just got beat up the entire fight by Alsawadi, and he really, really needed. You could hear his coaches in the second round just like, dude, what are you doing showboating? Fucking try to finish this guy or you're going to lose. And he did up the pressure a little bit, but not enough. He doesn't have this like win at all costs kind of mentality, I guess. It doesn't seem like it, at least. He's definitely tough. He's definitely durable, but yeah. And it was kind of weird. It was one of those fights where he's trying to touch hands like good fight. And Alsawadi was just not having it the entire fucking fight. Good on Alsawadi, man. Like in the lead up into it, Shamrock was, talking some shit to promote the fight, but dude, you can't just act like you're best friends if the guy doesn't want to. Like after the first time, Alsawadi was like, no, fuck that. Shamrock should have just taken the hint, but the entire fight, like even at the end of the fight, he's like, yeah, trying to be like, good fight, great fight, man, but Alsawadi was having fucking none of it. And pretty handy win from Alsawadi. I don't know. He pretty much won the majority of the whole fight. So Yeah, you can see on strike, he did very well in the striking, and kind of like just took an easy win. You didn't get him out of there or anything. Next fight, I might have picked Louis Sutherland, and that I don't know why, bro. He is the widest looking mofo in here. I knew he wasn't going to win, but I was like, I kind of wanted Louis Sutherland to win. He kind of just got fucking cooked by Pinto Pericic. However, I will say, we can watch it back. You guys might have watched it back. There was like 3 or 4 of those shots that led to the finishing sequence that were clearly to the back of the head. And like basically just because he's a big heavyweight and he swarmed him, and like he landed like 3 or 4 shots that kind of like sealed the deal to the back of the head, like kind of like really hurt Louis Sutherland. But it was so fast, and then Louis Sutherland was like clearly out of it, and like you kind of have to stop the fight at that point. But there was definitely some strikes that, you know, landed very clearly to the back of the head. And when they showed the replay of the finish, they specifically left those shots out. Good win for Pinto Pericic, but definitely some ground and pound shots that were straight to the back of the dome. Some of them were good, some of them were to the side of the ear, some of them caught the ear, but some of them were clearly just straight to the back of the head. And it wasn't like Louis Sutherland was like rolling around trying to move out of the way very fast. First of all, he's a fucking walrus. He's not moving that fast. He just kind of was going like this, and they were landing like straight in the back of the head. Anyways, we all saw this one kind of going this way. Antonio Tricoli is not the best UFC fighter, but Mantas did not look near as good as against Tricoli as I thought. He actually was, wow, dude. When you look at the strike, like when you watch the fight, it was closer. It seemed closer than 135 to 29 strike. Wow. It seemed a little bit like, obviously Mantas was like the guy who was winning the fight clearly, but I didn't think the striking differential was that bad. That's pretty crazy. Mantas looked good, but not like great. And again, not looking great against Tricoli is interesting. You know, he's got a lot of work to do. He's a grappler. Well, he's not a grappler, but he kind of just brawled with him, I guess. It wasn't like the cleanest performance, and I feel like he could have had a way cleaner performance, but he did hurt him, rock him in so many different areas, and I'm surprised he didn't get it finished. Tricoli showed some insane heart. He was cut bad, bleeding everywhere. You could tell Tricoli really did not want to lose this fight, but he was just a little bit outclassed, and he got so damaged in the later rounds that it was pretty hard for him to pull off any kind of upset. But he was coming back for it in the third round still, which is pretty crazy to see. Good win for Mantas, but he didn't look like against Tricoli. You think he would get him out of there in the first or second round. Got that one right. I mean, I would hope so. Mario Pinto obviously got that one right. I think everybody kind of went Mario Pinto. Felipe Franco going up a weight division looked not bad against Mario Pinto, but like also they both really didn't do anything. This was kind of one of the fights was kind of boring. First of all, the Mantas versus Tricoli fight wasn't like the most high level, high stakes fight, but it was still a very entertaining fight. Like they went after each other, and there was a war. This fight very much the opposite. Mario Pinto kind of just did a bit more in the striking, did a bit more pushing him up against the fence, and a little bit in the grappling. So it's kind of like one of those boring ones. But yeah, Mario Pinto gets the win, and it's kind of one of these fights that's just like, you know, move on, Mario Pinto, up, get another fight, because his fight fell out in the last minute. You got this dude just making his UFC debut, up a weight class. You kind of expect him to win. And yeah, he won. It wasn't anything like insane, wasn't a crazy performance, but it was a good win. Nathaniel Wood, oh my days. Honestly, guys, Nathaniel Wood is one of my favorite fighters. I want this guy to succeed so bad in the UFC. And it's not like he's not succeeding. I think he's on a 5-fight win streak now. Let's double check. I think he's up there, man. I think that was a 4-fight win streak coming into this. Keita, Delgado, Morgan Charrier, Pineda, Naimov, he technically lost the decision against, but bro, Naimov was cheating the entire fight, and I still think Wood could have won. Outside of that, he won against Fili, Charles Jourdain, who's really good, against Rosas, and then he lost to Kenny, but like that was way down. He's honestly Castaneda, whatever, Dodson, yeah. Quinones, man, he's had a lot of fights in the UFC, but he's won. I mean, what's his record like straight off the bat? 22-6. He's got a good record, man, and he's only lost a couple close fights against good guys, and that like some of them like arguably split decisions like just slipped away from him. I think Nathaniel Wood is one of the best, not best, but one of the better fighters at flyweight. Like he should be ranked. This guy should be ranked, and his fight with Keita was really, really good. I was saying Keita, I didn't really watch much of his regional scene stuff. I saw some of it, and he's kind of he's a cleaner, better striker than I thought. He didn't quite have the urgency he needed, I think, to make it like he could have if either of these guys put on a little bit more pace in one of the rounds and like went for it. One, they might have got finished, and that could have been a huge mistake that they're looking back on like, why is this kid on the internet telling me I should have gone a bit harder? I would have just lost. But honestly, though, I think like if one of them just poured on a little bit more, they could have won the fight. And coming into the fight, like the decision, this fight was a split decision for Nathaniel Wood. I thought Nathaniel Wood won, but it was a close-ass fight, man. It was really close. In my opinion, Nathaniel Wood was cleaner striker. He wasn't getting hit as often. We can look at the striking numbers here. And when he was getting hit, yes, he was getting hit, but he always has such a good tight guard. His hands are always up. He's up on the striking numbers. And I think he landed the cleaner shots, and in a kind of like a back and forth, like clean striking match between the two, I think he was just a little bit cleaner. He was also the guy who was pushing forward a bit more. Like, I know it's not Muay Thai, but when you look at a typical Muay Thai fight and how they are scoring it, which is part of what they're doing in this fight, and I guess octagon control is something they take into consideration. But he was the guy that was advancing more, he was pressuring, and I don't know. I just thought it was a very, very close fight. Lucien Chieta looked really good. I think he's going to be a problem for a lot of the guys outside the rankings in 145. And Nathaniel Wood beat him, and he moves on. I'm glad he won. I'm glad this wasn't a thing where he lost a close split decision and has to reset. This was a tough fight for him to take against this guy coming into the UFC. And I think it's awesome that he won, and I think it's time we move homie up. Move homie up against some of the better guys at featherweight, because I think he does very well against a lot of the guys in the top 15 at featherweight, and I think Lucien Chieta would be a hard fight for a lot of the guys up weight classes at 145 as well. So great win from Nathaniel Wood, and I want to see him move up and fight some of the other guys. He's really good technically. Axel Sola versus Mason Jones. I got this one right as well. I got the last one right as well too, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far we're like 5 and 7, which isn't awful, but I should have known that fucking Louis Sutherland wasn't going to win. That was kind of a given, bro. I picked Mason Jones. Thought he's going to have a hard time with Axel Sola's boxing, but he's in the striking. Mason Jones is just. He's kind of just a goober, man. He knows he's. I don't want to say like one of those orcs, but he's kind of got the orc mentality where he's just trying to fucking take you out. But he's got really good pressure, like I was saying in the predictions. He's got really good pressure. He's really game. Like you're not gonna finish Mason Jones. Like I'm gonna be very surprised if anybody finishes Mason Jones like in his UFC career. And he's got this forward pressure that just breaks people. Like if this would be like, I know he's not like the most technical guy, but he's still very technical, which I'll get into in a second. But this would be one of the scariest fights to take against guys like this, because no matter what you do, they're gonna keep coming after you, and they're just gonna try to fuck you up. Like Axel Sola coming in this fight, he's like probably thinking like, I'm way more technical and I can out technique him. But when you look at a guy like Mason Jones, you can think that you can out technique him, you can think you can out skill him, but you can't out grit, you can't out hard a guy like Mason Jones. I don't care how fucking gritty you are, I don't care how game of a fighter you are, and Axel Sola was so game, and he was going straight to them, but he's still like, no matter what, you are not out gritting Mason Jones. And those are scary guys to fight, man, because no matter what you do, they're just gonna smile and come forward and try to fucking break you, man. And that's exactly what he's got, like, I guess the farm boy kind of fucking mentality where they're just absolute workhorses, man. And he's a scary fighter because he doesn't only have this grit, he doesn't only have this just like intention to hurt you and stuff like that and just get after you. He's also pretty technical. Like his striking looked good against Axel Sola. He was at a huge reach disadvantage, size disadvantage, and he was doing a very good job of like closing the distance, stepping through with punches, really pressuring Axel Sola, which is exactly what he needed to do to make this fight go in his favor. He did a great job of clinching up, blasting Axel Sola with knees. It was a close fight first 2 rounds. And then third round, Mason Jones, I mean, after he landed that one knee that cut Axel Sola open, and then the second round he caused a bit more damage, he kind of just kept putting it on Axel Sola, and at the end of the third round, he had Axel Sola really hurt. And Axel Sola was like, you could tell the third round, he's like walking like, he's like looks like he was almost like stumbling around like he was KO'd or out of it. And I think it was more just fatigue because, you know, he's such a big dude for the weight division. And that was the craziest pace with so much damage that I think it was more just like he was definitely rocked, but like it was more just fatigued than like I'm fully out of it. But Mason Jones was just putting it on him, man. Just putting it on him, blasting with knees in the third round. Great win for Mason Jones. I think he's a motherfucker at this division, man. He's gonna be a tough fight for so many people. He's a tough fight because you're just not gonna finish him, and he's just gonna keep coming after you. And he's going to make it an absolute... You know when you sign up to fight this guy, you're going to an absolute war. Like, you know you're going to war. And you're probably not going to be able to finish him. This was another one I got wrong. Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva. I kind of bought into the hype of Curtis Campbell. I did think it would be a bit of a tough fight, stand-up-wise. Yeah, bro got... A lot of these UK guys get a lot of hype. And they are good, but, like, they get a lot of hype. And sometimes it's a bit... It's like the Paddy Pimblett hype. It's like... Oh my God, Paddy Pimblett's going to be the next fucking big thing. He's a champ. No, like, for sure. And you're watching them fight, and you're like, they're good. But there's definitely some technique and some holes. So, yeah, good win for Danny Silva. I mean, he looked really good in this fight. It was pretty close. Danny Silva was definitely getting a little bit better, getting the better of Curtis Campbell in the striking, which we kind of figured. And Curtis Campbell was doing pretty good in the grappling. He definitely was able to control Danny Silva a little bit, land some good shots, threaten some submissions. Nothing crazy, but pretty good. It was just when he was striking, he posts a lot with his arm out like this. Like, he reaches a lot. He's reaching like this, which is fine, but he's doing it all the time, and he's doing it like this, pulling away. And when he's doing it like this. He's not doing it like, he's not like somebody like Nathaniel Wood or some of the better strikers you'll see. Like, if they're going to post and pull away, first of all, Nathaniel Wood doesn't do it. His hands are almost always here. But if they're going to post and pull away, then they're not reaching like this to like post or reaching like this to like keep their arm out. They're like this. Like, so you're not going to get rocked over the top as easily, right? And Curtis Campbell's kind of just like this, trying to keep his distance, and Danny Silva just straight over the top of that like outstretched hand, because his chin is like this and his arm's reaching out like this, and he's kind of just trying to roll with things or like get out of the way, lean back. But it was just a bit too much, a bit too obvious, and Danny Silva's a good enough striker where he took advantage of that, rocked him, hurt him really bad, and finished him on the ground. And yeah, dude, honestly, for somebody who's losing their O, and for somebody who's like this big prospect, Curtis Campbell took the L like a champ. Like, he just got right back up. He's like, yeah, I lost that fight. Sucks. On to the next. I'm going to get better. I think Curtis Campbell's a good fighter. I think he seems like a nice dude, and I think he'll be one of these fighters that down the line that like does get way better, and he beats people like Danny Silva's level for sure. I think it just takes a little bit of time, and it was kind of a little bit of a rude awakening into his UFC debut. But I don't think he's going to be the next Shamrock where he gets fucking folded the next two fights and he's out of there. Next up, we got Christian Leroy Duncan versus Deletezeh. I picked this one. I'm surprised it went to a decision, to be honest. I feel like CLD could have finished him earlier. Roman Deletezeh is so bad, man. He's so bad. He's like one of these fighters where you look at the actual skill level he presents, and I'm like, within my second to third year of striking and training Muay Thai, like I'm way more technical than this. This dude is striking. Like, you've been a professional fighter for this long, and your striking and stuff is that bad. He just plods forward, zero technique. Yeah, I don't know. You're looking at it and you're like, how are you like one of these fighters that's supposed to be like one of the better guys in this division? I don't know. It's just technique is just so bad. And then the grappling, he's like, his grappling is not dominant. His grappling is very much like, I don't know. It's just rolling around trying to get leg locks, and he's not even that good at leg locks. Like, anyways, I don't know. I really don't think Roman Deletezeh is that good of a fighter, and we all kind of saw Christian Leroy Duncan just beat him up, and he easily beat up Roman Deletezeh in this fight. I'm surprised he didn't get a finish, but he easily beat Roman Deletezeh up in this fight. Up next, we got Iwo Baranowski versus Austin Lane. This is also another really dumb fight to have on the card and also to break down. Like, it was just stupid. Like, Austin Lane was going to get flatline KO'd from this guy immediately, no matter what. In 28 seconds, he got flat. This was one of those fights that's like, what's the point of even putting it on? Because you just know exactly what's going to happen, and it was just that easy. Like, Iwo Baranowski literally had zero. It was just a free 30-second KO. Like, the reason they put this fight on is because they know Austin Lane's going to get KO'd and cut, and easily by Baranowski. So that's literally what happened. Well, there's not much to talk about. It was like the easiest KO ever. Venompage versus Patterson. This fight that absolutely sucked more than any other fight in the world. I feel bad for Sam Patterson because he had such a good streak going. He was first round KOing everybody. He was looking really good finishing everybody last 4 fights, and he's looking really good. He's making his ascent up the rankings, and they put him in a shit ass matchup against Venompage, where both of these guys can't really do anything against each other. Michael Venompage kind of stinks it up like he always does. I don't want to hate him, Michael Venompage, because I really liked his fights back in Bellator and stuff like that. And you're like, oh my god, he's actually going to do some crazy stuff, but he really does not. He's really not there to. He's just there to point fight, and yeah, I don't know, man. He hasn't had one entertaining fight in the UFC, and honestly, man, I really don't care to watch another Michael Venompage fight at all. Like, I really don't. I'm sorry, I don't. And I feel bad for Sam Patterson because it kind of just ruins his momentum and stuff. And now he's going to drop back down the rankings, and people are going to think he's a boring-ass fighter for having this performance against Venompage. And honestly, I don't really think it was that much of Sam Patterson's fault. It was mostly Venompage's fault. Like, he really didn't do anything, and he really didn't give any opportunities for Sam Patterson to do anything. Yeah, Patterson could have probably pressured him a bit more and really tried to get after him, but I don't know. It was one of those fights that just sucked, and man, it was bad. And honestly, like, I know they all scored it to Page, but like, it really wasn't that close of a fucking fight to give to Page. Like I was watching, I was like, man, you could kind of give it either way. And the reason I would like argue that you could maybe give it to Sam Patterson, which probably not, but he was the only guy that was pressuring. Venompage was not pressuring or doing anything at all. Like, if you looked at a Muay Thai fight, like I said earlier, like, the guy that's coming forward is the guy that's typically winning. Obviously, you have to be landing better shots, but they were both landing fuck all for shots. So, and Sam Patterson was at least somewhat coming forward. So, anyways, it was just a bad fight. Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell Jr. Good fight. Aswell Jr. is not bad at all, but again, it was one of those fights where it's like, Luke Riley is just a little bit better in the striking, and we kind of all saw that, you know, that being the outcome. And Michael Aswell Jr. didn't mix in enough takedowns. Not that I think he would have had great success taking down Luke Riley. He's not the best grappler. He's a good grappler, but not the best. But yeah, it was good. It was a really good striking fight, like entertaining-wise. Kind of like one setup for Riley to win almost. It was like, let's put Luke Riley, who's a good striker, against somebody who's going to strike with him that's not quite as good of a striker. But Michael Aswell Jr. in the first round looked really good. I think maybe even got the better of him. We can look at the total strikes. Yeah, 54 to 45. And then second, third round, Luke Riley kind of just found his range and his timing and stuff and kind of started putting it on Michael Aswell Jr. But Luke Riley got hit with some big shots, bro. He took them well. He also hit Aswell Jr. with some big shots as well. But yeah, it was good. It was kind of like, it was a good striking match. It was a clean striking match, but it wasn't like, man, these guys are like elite strikers. Like, Luke Riley looked like a good striker in there, and he definitely got the better of Michael Aswell Jr., but he didn't look like he's going to be able to strike with some of the best in this division. So it'll be interesting, because if he does get higher up in the rankings, these guys, one, are either going to be easily able to take him down, or two, going to be good enough to strike with him, and it's going to be even, if not like slightly better. So he's definitely got some work to do, but it's literally it's his second fight in the UFC, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, great fight, entertaining fight. A lot better than the Venompage fight, that's for sure. And then Mobstar versus Lerone Murphy. I kind of got gypped into thinking that Lerone Murphy might win a decision because of fucking Bisping yapping on about how Mobstar literally needs a finish. And, dude, sometimes the commentary is a little bit much. People are going to say this was a robbery. I honestly thought it was a very close fight. I definitely thought Mobstar won the fourth and the fifth round, and then he got point taken away. So the point taken away was a big thing. I think without the point taken away, for sure Mobstar won. I think he won the fourth, the fifth, and potentially the third. And the first and the second were close fight rounds, but you probably could have given it to either guy. So it's kind of tough that way. When I watched the fight real time, did I think that Mobstar won 4 rounds, like 4-1? I don't know, man. I don't know. It was close. It was one of those fights where I was like, I don't know who won. Like going, I thought it was like maybe like 2-2 going into the fifth, and then with the point deduction, I was like, okay, well, it's kind of a draw, and that's if Lerone, because the first round was super close, second round was super close, third round was super close, and Lerone Murphy was doing well until Mobstar hit him with some good shots at the end. Fourth and fifth were definitely Mobstar's rounds, but that was also because Lerone Murphy, his hip was hurt him, and also Mobstar just chose to strike with Lerone Murphy the whole first 3 rounds. So you got a couple more strikes for Lerone Murphy in the first round, more strikes for Lerone Murphy in the second round, more strikes for Mobstar in the third round, yeah. And from what I kind of watched, I had third, fourth, and fifth round for Mobstar, but that doesn't leave 4 rounds. I guess you could give him the first round. I don't think he won the second round. So it kind of comes down to the first round, and 2 of the judges gave Mobstar the first round. So interesting, good fight. Mobstar's striking looked good, man. Lerone Murphy looked good as well. He was able to stop and do well defend a lot of the takedowns, like without problem. So that was good. Other than that, though, it wasn't like the most entertaining fight, but it was still a very high skill level fight. The thing is, both these guys have to fight. Whoever won this fight had to fight Volk. Mobstar won. He has to fight Volk. If it's anything else, I'm gonna blow up my channel. Like, dude, I'll be so pissed if anybody other than Mobstar gets a title shot. I think we're all kind of feeling that way now. I know it's not necessarily the most exciting fight, but it's a fight that has to happen. And I don't know. I don't see how somebody like Mobstar gets past Volk. Like, I really don't. Like, Mobstar's grappling is good, but it's not good at Volk. They're like, Mobstar's really well-rounded. He's got great grappling. He's got pretty good striking. He hits hard, but he's like a worse version of. He's like a smaller version, not worse. He's like maybe worse. He's like a worse, smaller version of Islam Makhachev, right? Islam fought Volk, and Volk did just fine against Islam the first fight. I know the second fight that he got head kick KO'd, but that was right off a KO and on short notice, so it doesn't really count. We're not counting that as Volk fans. But I really don't see how Mobstar wins this fight, because Volk can grapple with guys at Mobstar's level. He's proven it against Islam and other fighters as well, and he can definitely strike against people Mobstar's level. Like, Mobstar's not on the same level as somebody like Max Holloway in the striking, stuff like that. And Volk has fought some of the best strikers out there, and he's been able to do his thing just fine. And he's going to be able to defend the grappling against Mobstar just fine. So I do think Volk wins the fight, and I do think he's able to do his thing in there. Like, he's just gonna tap low kicks at range, come in with a couple big shots here and there, just kind of fuck Mobstar up on the outside. And then in the grappling, like, Volk is going to be just fine against Mobstar. So I don't see that being a problem. But yeah, it'll be an interesting fight. It'll be a good fight. It's a fight that has to happen, and it's a good fight for Volk's legacy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my reactions and breakdowns to this UFC London card. It was kind of nice to not have to stay up to like 12 o'clock at night to watch a UFC fight card. But also, it wasn't the best card, but it was still good. There's some fights that were okay. I'm going to give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. But yeah, anyways, if you guys haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video. Hype this video if you can. And yeah, I'm out. Deuces.